Defense Show in Riyadh is bringing together some of the biggest names in global defense and technology here on the sidelines of the exhibition. I sat down one-on-one with Joseph Rang. I'm Nuray Mustafa. You are watching AnewZ. Joseph Frank, Vice President and Chief Executive for Saudi Arabia and Africa at Lockheed Martin, thank you for speaking with us here.
My pleasure.
Mr. Joseph, how does Lockheed Martin's presence in Saudi Arabia align with the company's overall global strategy?
Well, first let me just say that WDS is a great opportunity for us to be in the kingdom and to reach many of our partners and customers. Saudi Arabia is central to our strategy. It's always one of the top 5 companies. And more recently, they've been making more purchase orders, and there's a great political alignment right now. So it's a great opportunity to be here.
And Saudi Arabia is becoming an important hub for technical development. And how does Lockheed Martin's activity for the 3 contribute to global innovation?
Yeah, great question. So what I say is, in the past, we used to sell things here. Now we actually repair things here and manufacture things here, components. So for example, the THAAD system, which is the world's most advanced air and missile defense system, we're manufacturing key components here that are integrated into our global supply chain. So that's really exciting, and that's an example of how they're not just a consumer or a buyer, but they're actually a key supplier to Lockheed Martin.
From a global perspective, how does companies work in the kingdom support international security and defense collaboration?
Yeah, so the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is obviously in the middle of the Middle East. It's the largest country, so its stability and security are critical to the world economy. And so this is a great example for the U.S. to support not only a key partner and ally like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but support the global economy by providing Saudi Arabia the ability to defend itself and deter bad actors.
The development of the local industry is often highlighted as a priority. How does Lockheed Martin contribute to strengthening local capability in Saudi Arabia?
So in fact, I was just talking to a local supplier who came up and thanked me for helping them get into the USG, the US government processes and supply chain. So they were integrated into our THAAD missile. And so this is an example. We help qualify into the US defense ecosystem to be a global supply chain for Lockheed Martin, and then they can also produce for other people as well in the U.S. Additionally, we're also now moving into strengthening human capital development. So we open up a software factory here. Almost all defense articles have a software component now. Radars, missiles, helicopters, planes, they all use software. And what software does is help them to update and bring in the latest developments. For example, AI, ML, all these things. So we're leveraging the existing talent here and helping them apply it to the existing defense ecosystem.
And how do the operations in Saudi Arabia align with the company's long-term global sustainability and responsible growth objectives?
Yeah, so because the kingdom is one of our biggest consumers of our systems, integrating them into our global supply chain is in our benefit, particularly after COVID, when supply chain revealed for many industries, but to include defense, the fragility of the system, meaning if you only have one supplier and then you can't get access to them, that's a problem. So we're bringing Lockheed again to our global supply chain, so that enhances the competitiveness, enhances the timeliness and availability of additional parts.
And what lessons or approach from the projects in Saudi Arabia could serve as the examples for other international markets?
I think it's an example. I mean, it's pretty much a global phenomenon that companies like the kingdom were just interested in buying, but they didn't realize that if they started to develop their own defense ecosystem, that this could help transfer technology and enhance their workforce so they could be more competitive. So it's happening everywhere. But what's unique about Saudi Arabia is the size, the mass, because it's one of the top 5 consumers of defense articles in the world, and GDP, it's actually the largest. So it's a great opportunity for other companies, not just Lockheed, to do what we're doing.
And how does the company's regional presence influence its global supply chain and the operational resilience?
Well, you kind of answered the question with your question. So it really does enhance our resilience, but also it enhances our attractiveness to the kingdom, because it's one of the requirements now. I mean, you have to be able to manufacture up to 60% of what you're going to sell to the kingdom has to be done here. So because we were one of the first companies to really begin at a large scale because of the THAAD missile, this has given us a really good competitive advantage, and we're growing this and expanding it.
Mr. Joseph, how does the experience gained in Saudi Arabia help shape Lockheed Martin's future international programs?
Well, I think one thing it's doing now is, we talked about, building components. We talked about, or maybe I didn't talk about it yet, but also repairing components. But the next big thing is actually producing things in the kingdom, from scratch. So not just one component, but say, for example, a whole radar. So this is the next phase of what we're looking at, is to have a landed company here in Saudi Arabia, a Lockheed Martin star on a building, and actually producing things here for the kingdom, but also for the international market.
What are Lockheed Martin's future plans in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so I kind of already indicated that, which is basically to go beyond component manufacturing repair to actually producing things like a whole radar. The other thing I'd like to highlight, you didn't ask me this question, but I'll throw it in there if it's okay, is that we've been in the kingdom for 60 years. 1965 was the year we delivered our first C-130, and since then, we've just been growing and expanding and building out our partnership.
Thank you so much. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
for taking time with us. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.